All right, so I'm watching the leading semiconductor index right now. In one of my previous posts, I noted that the semis had broken out above that 2000 high that comes in at about 1362, I believe. You can see they temporarily stalled at that level, had to pull back into a daily cycle low, broke through, retested, and uh, and they're now um, trying to break out to all new highs. Actually, I think this was a new all-time high. Let me widen this chart a bit. All right, so the semis I think are going to be the biggest, or at least a very big beneficiary of the incorporation of artificial intelligence into human society over the next 10 or 15 years. So I think there's a lot of potential in this sector in the next decade or so. Good place to have your 401ks, in my opinion. Now, that being said, we're pretty late in this intermediate cycle. We're 15 weeks into this. Um, Normally, I would say there's little chance of this breakout being sustained, and um, with a strong follow through to the upside at 15 weeks. But there is a FOMC meeting on May 1st. Uh, it seems unlikely to me that the Fed is going to allow the market to roll over into an intermediate correction, which it should. Um, at 15 weeks, the intermediate cycle is very mature, and the previous intermediate cycle ran. Granted, this is the chart of the semis, not of the S&P, but the counts are still the same. This previous cycle, intermediate cycle, ran just ridiculously long. There was 5 daily cycles embedded within it, which I'm not sure has ever happened before. It ran, almost a year. So by all rights, the next intermediate cycle should be short, should only have 2 daily cycles embedded within it, which means that this cycle should, this daily cycle right here, should left translate. We should come down and go below these lows. We should get, at least one left translated and failed the daily cycle. But with an FOMC meeting on May 1st, I doubt that's going to happen. I think the market will be protected. The Fed put will be maintained, and it's probably going to take 3 daily cycles to get to the next intermediate cycle low, which means instead of the ICL occurring in late April, early May, where it should, it's probably going to get pushed out to July. Um, the so I'm going to say the next 5 days will tell us whether or not that's going to happen. The market needs to break down very quickly here and start to head lower rapidly if this ICL is going to occur in the timing band that it should in April or May. But we're starting to run out of time here. We're moving into the middle of April and we're not breaking down yet. So it looks to me like the Fed put is going to be maintained, and we're probably going to have to wait till July for the next ICL. But going back to the semis, this leading sector is, as you can see, is breaking out to new highs here. But I am leery that this may not produce a sustained move, and by that I mean this breakout just runs and we're off to the races. I suspect this breakout will probably not have follow through, and then maybe we get up here and we churn for a little bit through as we move through earnings season, and then possibly we come back down to test that 2000 high at 1362 at the next ICL, and then at that point maybe we could get a sustained breakout above this level. So let me widen this chart out a little bit. All right, so you can see the semis are trying to break out above this 2000 high. And if this was occurring early in the intermediate cycle, say on week 4 or 5, I would be all in on a sustained breakout scenario, but this breakout is occurring 15 weeks into the intermediate cycle. Um, so I'm not totally convinced that this breakout is going to be sustained and we're going to get follow through and we're off to the races. Not yet, anyway. I think there's a decent chance that that the semis could, they may still have a little more upside left here, but I think they may end up coming back down and retesting these 2000 highs again at the next intermediate cycle low. And then I think that would be the springboard that could produce a sustained breakout above this. And over the next 10 or 15 years, a basing pattern this large, 18, 19 years, has the potential to move up, um, anywhere from 200 to 1,000% over the next 10 or 15 years. And I think this is going to be one of the leading sectors for the second half of the bull market. The first half, this part here was led by the FANG stocks, but it's time for new leadership. It's time for the FANG stocks to move to the, maybe not to the back of the bus, but at least to the middle of the bus, and for new leaders to step up. And I think that's going to be the semiconductor index is going to be one of them. And I also think biotech is going to be a big beneficiary, a leader for the second phase of this bull market. So I don't think you need to go all in on the semis just yet. We should get an intermediate degree correction sometime. It should occur in late April, early May, but like I said, I doubt the Fed is going to allow that to happen in front of the FOMC meeting. So I'm thinking probably more like end of July, sometime early, or end of June, early July might be the point at which maybe this breakout comes back down and retests these 2000 highs one more time before we take off to the upside.